So this is a quick video between the different features between the Agri Fab and the Scott's broadcast spreader. So I'm not trying to compare apples to apples, but I just wanted to show you the differences that you're going to get when you pay a little bit more for something like the Agri Fab, which is a much heavier duty spreader. So I've had this Scott's broadcaster for about 6 years now, and to be honest with you, it's held up really well. So the reason I upgraded is because I have about an acre of land, and about half of that I treat. I needed to upgrade to something that was a little more robust, that carried more product, and to me that was a little more ergonomically friendly. So the big thing you notice with the Agri Fab is that it has a much bigger hopper. Compared to the Scott's, I would say it's probably about 2 to 3 times bigger. And for me, this is important because I have such a large yard, I'm not having to go back and forth to reload product. The other thing you'll notice is the height. The push height on the Agri Fab is much higher and is more comfortable for me when I'm pushing. The Scott's was a little bit low and kind of strained a little bit on my back. The other thing are the wheels. As you notice, the Agri Fab has pneumatic tires and the Scott's has plastic. The wheels are important because when you load the spreader up with a lot of weight, they help to transfer that weight to the ground. The construction of the Agri Fab is a little more heavy duty, mostly because more of the components are made out of metal. The Scott's, however, being mostly plastic, has held up really well. Believe it or not, I haven't had anything break on it. Now what's equally important is how they function. So a feature I like about the Agri Fab is the mechanism that meters and delivers a product. With the Scott's, you have to squeeze this handle and keep it held throughout the entire treatment process. Now over time, your hand kind of gets cramped a little bit and it just becomes uncomfortable. The Agri Fab has a set and let go feature, and it just makes it much more comfortable when you're pushing your spreader. The other feature to mention is how you set the amount of product you're going to use. Both of these spreaders are equally designed. I really don't prefer one over the other. I'd say they both work well. So one of the features I didn't like is when you pull this handle and let it go to turn off the applicator, sometimes the applicator would not fully close because product was kind of jammed in there. So this mechanism is just a cable, and there's a spring that pulls this flapper back closed. And it doesn't work if you don't keep your spreader cleaned, because that slide just kind of gets caught up. What I like about the Agri Fab is that this is a rodded connection. So when you push this forward, it is forcefully pushing that rod down and making the slide close completely. So the big thing that sold me on the Agri Fab in a larger unit is the push height. Now in the down mode, you can see that the push height is pretty much the same height. But when you lift the spreader up, the push height on the Scott's is a lot lower than the push height on the Agri Fab. So one of the features the Scott's has is this edge guard. So when engaged, this orange guard comes around and essentially pushes the product that way, not allowing product to come out on this side of the spreader. Now this is helpful because when you go around sidewalks and flower beds, sometimes you don't want to throw your product into that location. So Agri Fab does not have an edge guard, but I imagine you could probably DIY something. Leave in the comments if you have done something like this to your spreader. So again, I'm not trying to compare apples to apples. It's not a fair comparison. What I'm just showing you is the difference in features so that if you want to upgrade your spreader, now you have a better idea why.